Hello, right, so today I'm gonna put together an alloy diff for the L1evo. I've got one built up ready, and that's the stock one, and that's in the packaging here. Before I forget, I'm going to do a comparison on the weight, so let's just do a little comparison. So that's an L1evo diff, and that's coming in at, let's probably put it on its end, 32.5 grams, and the alloy diff comes in at 2 grams heavier. So that extra weight is going to spool up slightly slower, probably a bit more smooth to drive, I reckon. So I'm going to do a speed up version of strip down and build of the diff, because you don't want to watch it in real time because it's far too boring. Okay, so now it's all stripped down. I used a 1.5 driver and also the power driver as well to speed things up. Basically got it stripped down to its component parts. We've got a new L1evo diff conversion here. So these rings have got to be put on to this casing first. Now it's a very tight fit, and if you look closely, which is not easy, you can see one has a beveled edge, so you want that facing the belt, so one side like that. Now to get these on, we need to warm these up in some hot water. So what I recommend doing is getting a cup of water, boil the kettle, tip it in, leave these in for a couple of minutes so they get nice and warm and supple and swell up a little bit, so they're nice and soft. Then we're going to lubricate the edge of the diff casing with a little bit of the oil that I'm going to use in a minute, actually, so we can get these on. It's not easy, so it's best to warm them up, otherwise you could end up snapping one, and then you got to wait a few days for a new one to be delivered, which would be a pain. Fortunately, I've sort of had some recommendations from other Schumacher drivers, so this is the way to go. I'm going to get this all prepped, ready to do the next stage. Okay, we're back. Okay, we have got 1 cup of boiling water from the kettle, and I'm going to pop in my 2 diff rings, diff oil around the case, just to make it a little bit easier to get the belt guides on because you've got a little lip on there which is quite hard to get the guide over. Right, so that's warming up. It comes with 2 0.5mm shims. They always need to be directly behind the bevel gears. I always use one of the thin shims behind them, one shim behind the outdrive, and I use 2 shims behind the bearings. That gives me about the right float. Some people will probably use different ones. So when I'm rebuilding a diff, I always use a new pack of O-rings, so you get a nice good seal, because over time the old ones swell up and they won't be any good, really. So I mean, for the cost of, you know, very small amount, you can replace them and know you'll be good to go. Right, let's get rid of those, and we just want 2 red ones and a black one. Now to lubricate the O-rings, I like to use a bit of green slime, which is the original stuff. Put it in a bit of packaging here. I learned this little trick from Alan O'Brien back in the day of his Team T video, I think it was. That's a nice clean way of doing it. So you can pop your O-rings in there. This protects them a little bit, makes them last a bit longer, better than just putting them in dry. So they're all ready. Put them down on the side, and then the O-ring that seals the diff, I'm going to put that in there as well, because that is going to make it easier to work with if it's got a bit of sticky grease on it, and it will seal up better. I'm going to pip, see, that's all got a very small amount on there, but it does the job. Okay, so I'm going to do this in fast time because this is too slow. Okay, so as you can see, I used the pliers to squeeze it on, and it went really quite smoothly. There's no issues, no damage. So all we really got to do now is give this a blast with the bearing blaster, clean off the excess oil, and then you should be good to start assembling. Okay, so we now have the outdrives in, the gears in, and it's all kind of constructed. Now, which is the O-ring which I greased earlier. I'm going to slip that over this half of the diff, and with that extra green slime on there, it stays on in position quite easily. Without that, it slips off and can disappear off the table somewhere. Okay, so that's built and ready to fill up with some oil. I'm going to use 10K. That's my flavour today. Some people like to go for 12 or 2 gear. I'm just going to build this up for just for practice and see how it goes. I might go for 2 gear. But for now, I'm going to go for 4 gear. Now, the important thing with putting this together is to make sure that everything is meshing nicely. So line up the screw holes, give the gears a twist, and make sure they're turning freely from side to side. Because if you just put it together and wind the screws in, you can find that it's locked up, and then you're having trouble. Now, I'm going to put these screws straight in, and I'm going to see how it goes. But what I might find is, because it's the screw going straight into aluminium body, they might work loose. So I might take them out after it's had a run or two and see how they're doing, and I might use thread lock rather than just putting them in dry. Do not really like the idea of them coming loose and destroying themselves whilst the car is running. So I'm just going to put my screws in loose, and then I can put it all back together. Let's check. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. It's nice and free. And like I say, I like to use 2 shims on the outside. And that is your diff ready. I think I'm going to write on this one now. This is my front diff. So I'm going to put the left on that. Just so I know, if I got all my diffs out of the car, then I know which one is which. And there you go, there's one alloy diff ready for the L1evo. Ready to roll. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.